Welcome to the Blessed Cheat Show. This is Rick, your host. Here we are on Wednesday, June 5th, live on YouTube. And we have some big news coming up, guys, with a New York Times article about YouTube going to be removing. It looks like the Q channels are likely to be removed because it's all around their definition of hate speech. We're going to talk about that. We also have Dustin Nemos live holding on. We'll have join him in just 1 second. Again, this is the Blessed Cheat Show on June 5th. People found me. We went off on the event channel. It didn't work real well. Now things are working extremely well on this live broadcast. So let's get this puppy started. If you remember, the last Q post was still $33.49 way back on March 20th. March 26th, he reposted a March 20th one on May 26th. So May 26th was the last one. Hey guys, good to see you. I see people here from Canada and Alaska and Georgia, North Carolina, Oklahoma. Yeah, people are talking about censorship everywhere. You're exactly right. So thanks for joining me here live. We'll get Dustin on in just a second. I did want to jump into this flashlight though, just to let you know who's sponsoring this show. This flashlight is awesome. I know Dustin makes fun of it sometimes, but this is solar powered and it actually has so much beefed into it. It makes a great Father's Day present. So if you're looking at Father's Day, and my time's coming right around the corner, this is the time to get these. And again, this has a light that you literally can see if you over 2.5 miles. It has two different modes as well as the third mode as this flash, right? And then if you hold down on it, what's really cool, it turns into strobe lights. Can actually really freak people out. As I've seen the strobe lights for like a police officer, right? And then you got a compass, a siren in the 2019 version only. So this thing's been upgraded. Again, the most important thing is it has a USB port right here, so when you can charge up your cell phones, even if you get submerged in a car, you literally got a glass breaker, you got a seatbelt cutter, or if you're out in the wilderness, you can break glass as well as cut rope or wire. So beautiful, and then a magnet right here. This thing's just packed. Just a great Father's Day gift. Again, patriotflashlights.com. patriotsflashlight.com. One thing I like to do, guys, just to let you know, is that this is a pretty expensive flashlight at $139, but if you buy multiple of them or you use my coupon code, it goes way down. So it goes all the way down to $49 each if you buy 3 of them. And then you can apply another 20% discount by Blessed20. Make sure you use Blessed20 there. Blessed20, and then you can get 3 flashlights for the price of 1. So get one for each of your cell phones, one for each of your cars, or whatever is best for you. But again, great Father's Day present. Don't forget your dad. All right, guys, I want to bring on Dustin Nemos of DustinNemos.com, and also you can see here his actual YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to this. YouTube is censoring us both heavily. He's got well over 100,000 users, I'm sure, based on the trend he was on before they started YouTubing this. Let me flip over to this other view so I can get him on the top for now. Dustin, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, Rick. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to pick on the flashlight. I do sometimes. I wasn't going to bring it up, but thank you.
Hey, I brought it up, so it's fair enough, right?
We got to have fun. And any company that supports patriots is a good company in my book. But, I want to say it is getting interesting with the censorship. It is. It's getting hard. I mean, we're trying to do the right thing here, and they're really scaling us down.
Right. So I'm going to put you on the big screen in a second, but I first want to just go through like 2 articles here that I thought was interesting. I first want to show you guys here. This is you go to YouTube, Dustin Nemos, you'll see right here with the hat. He's got 95,000 subscribers. He should have been over 100,000 way ago, just like I was they'd frozen me at 59,000 or so. They froze him at 95. I can show you some charts on that in a little bit. I'm going to show you of just, solid evidence of what they've done. Here is DustinNemos.com. You can come here. I've got it kind of shrunk down here, but it's a really cool website, packed with information. So make sure you go to DustinNemos.com. We'll get on that as well. I wanted to play this little 1 and 28 second clip. This is Steven Crowder. Listen to what he's talking about.
Okay, so spoke with YouTube earlier today. Tonight we're going to have an exclusive new video. Adpocalypse, the next adpocalypse is coming. A lot of the information that you've been getting out there is wholly inaccurate. The new adpocalypse is coming. It's coming for a lot of you. It's coming hard. It's going to be happening fast, and strong, and it's probably going to be happening to a lot more of you than you realize. Certainly a lot of the top YouTube creators out there who would have entertainment channels. Our channel is not going.
Yeah, and I know, Dustin, you probably couldn't hear that. That was basically the crowd I was talking about. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be knocked off, most likely. So I'm just telling you guys that make sure you connect with us in these different ways. Best place to go to me is get on my email list at blessedtoteach.com with a 2, blessedtoteach.com with a 2. I'm going to show you a couple other things in just a second before we kind of give the show primarily to hearing from Dustin Nemos. But I did want to show you real quickly. You can't see this, Dustin, either. I know it makes it hard to do that. But I just want to show my YouTube channel just real quick. Can I give you guys a good feel what's going on with just the censorship? It's going to get worse when we lose the channels completely. But here is, you can see my subscribers, over 150 per day on average. Since the beginning of my channel. This is just the last 9 months, but you can see right here on March 26th exactly, it has gone down to where it never goes around 20 to 30 subscribers. And it goes down when I do a show. When you can see historically, there's spikes every time I do a show, getting sometimes 400 to 600 users in new subscribers a day. It's completely. This was March 26th when this happened. There's another view of it right here, which is subscriber gain, which is even more dramatic. You can see the dates right here now, 9/15, 3/26. They completely put an algorithm on me to where that I can't get new subscribers. The net is negative subscribers, right? This is what happened to Dustin, I believe, at a different time as well. So I'm going to bring you over onto the big screen now and blow you up so more people can see you when you're talking.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and it's true. They froze us. They've turned us backwards. In fact, we can work 80, 90, 100 hours a week and we lose 100, 200 subscribers a week. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's completely overt and completely transparent, but only to people that are online. Like the normal people just don't see it. And that's the problem.
Yeah. So, and I should have shown the one article I forgot to show. Let me just flip over to that real quick. Is this New York Times article. Here it is. YouTube to remove thousands of videos pushing extreme views. Content alleging that the group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion, and videos denying that violent incidents occurred will be removed. So basically, if you say anything bad about Sandy Hook, boom, you're gone. You say anything bad about anything they consider hate speech, right, is what's going to be happening. And so the new policy will ban videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion. So as you know, they're trying to attach Q to white supremacy. They're trying to attach Q to anything bad, really, right? Mm-hmm. And they specifically mentioned the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. This is how they justified the Alex Jones things, which is a whole other topic. But anyway, I wanted to kind of get your feel on this New York Times article.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try to justify it any way they can. Of course, hate speech is really just for those who hate speech. And at that point, we're kind of, what are we?
It's a good point.
They really are. They're so guilty. They're so crooked. They're so corrupt. The big tech people are so in on it, and they don't have anything else to gain by helping us. They have everything on the table. They're about to go down for all of these treasonous acts, all this evil acts. My dog. Mm-hmm. I don't see that they're going to start being our buddy at the last minute. I think it's going to have to come as an act of sort of dominance on the administration's part to make them and force them to obey the law and respect our rights. But it could just be as simple as Trump switching to another social media site. I mean, we know already that he's looking into places like Parler. You know, his campaign manager, Brad Parscale, talking to them at least. That's the rumor. So we know that these things are going on, and we know that he's not an idiot. So yeah, it's going to get bad. They're going to censor us and such. It's going to get hard for a while, but the people that hang on are going to come through it. It's just going to be one more badge in our belt.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think just to let the people know where you will be going. I know I've got a BitChute where all my videos are backed up to right now, so that's where I know. And I think several other of YouTubers are there. Praying Medic just did one today. He's in, I think, is it Venmo or something like that, or but he said Alex Jones was taking off that one as well, so he's hosting them on his own website. But right now, my backup that's not YouTube is really, I've got Facebook and Twitter for Periscope and Facebook Live, but it's going to be BitChute for me. So guys, and only like less than 2% of you are subscribed to me on BitChute. So if you want to find that link, it's down below in this video. It's also at blessed2teach.com with the 2. Go down below and you'll see my BitChute. Where would they find you, Dustin?
BitChute, I back up everything there automatically. Huge tube, the Utah Gun Exchange tube. I'm going to be everywhere. Brighteon, I'm going to be on all of them. That's all up and coming with the Nemos News Network. But, DustinNemos.com, you can kind of stay in touch with me through there. I have a mailing list, as you do. That's really important. And for those who don't want to subscribe to the mailing list, hey, I get it. We'll see you in 6 months after we find you and reconnect.
Yeah, that's right. So if you really want to make sure that you know where we are as we fight, because they're going to be playing a game. It's going to be a cat and mouse game, right? And make sure you go and sign up to our email list. That's the best way for us to connect with you, right? And so you can tell us if you don't want emails. You can unsubscribe easy if you're irritated with us, but we're not going to be hitting you hard with anything other than kind of let you know what's going on and my cultural impact system. That's probably the only 2 things that I'll be hitting you guys on. And obviously you get my show notes as well. Hey, now that brings up a subject. I brought it up just for a second, and that is Alex Jones, right? And so there kind of seems to be the game. They're going to use him as the example, as an excuse. Hey, look, we were worse on Alex, but he was really part of the whole disinformation campaign, or what they call controlled opposition. Any thoughts on Alex before we get into the threat?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts. I mean, even other than the threat, my contingency has been for a while after Q exposed him as a liar and MOS or Mossad, I guess. But my contingency was that he is a limited hangout. He gets right ahead. He leads the pack. That's what he does. And then right when you need him to win, he loses each time, or he kind of throws the match or something, and that's why they're able to use these things to ridicule us. I mean, he is the reason that they ridicule us because of Pizzagate. He is the reason that they ridicule us because of Sandy Hook. He is the reason that many of them think that we are gun nuts after the Piers Morgan debate. I mean, he is sort of where they send all of that traffic to, and they're not idiots with the Streisand effect. They're redirecting a lot of traffic to him when they ban him. He's admitted multiple times his ratings are showing that he's better off than ever. So Alex Jones, I don't think, is actually being censored. I think he's actually being promoted to being the guy who's being censored, and I don't think that's exactly the same thing. Exactly. Whereas people like you and I are going to be censored heavily, and they're going to ban us quietly after banning him loudly, and that's what's coming now, where they're going to just sort of call it whatever they want to call it, associated with criminal activity or violence or whatever, because they cannot handle the reason, they cannot handle the evidence, they cannot handle the arguments.
That's exactly right. And it's just sad to see that somebody that we trusted, I know you trusted him for 15 plus years. I wasn't awake until more than 3 years ago when my son woke me up with Alex Jones, right? But so I think the whole thing's gonna backfire on him. But it's just sad to know that they've literally got controlled opposition. And by the way, guys, Vladimir Lenin, the evil person that killed millions of people in Russia, is the one who said the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. Controlled opposition is very sophisticated. It's not this black-white thing.
It's called a strategy of tension, and they use that to control something called the Overton window. So, if your paradigm is left versus right, because that, the left versus right are fighting this big fight, and you're pushed into those issues, and you're sort of just forced to choose a side, that's your strategy of tension. That is your Overton window. You never think about up and down.
Exactly right. It's a level of sophistication that I never thought of, Dustin. I even did a chart on it one time saying I thought I was fully red-pilled until then I started realizing, wow, they're trying to bring us into all these psyops. They even mentioned, I think in the article, even like flat Earth, right? Is eventually, if you talk about that, boom, you're gone. I even think those things are psyops to get us talking about different things, to fight against each other, etc., make us look foolish. And then it's not until you realize, oh my goodness, there's controlled opposition like Alex Jones out there that's actually our enemy in the end. And he's never supported Q except for the very beginning and getting Jerome Corsi as an agent, right? But I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
I don't know about flat earth. My first suspicion would be that they would have created something like that, or at least it's certainly useful as a ridicule tactic, just like the conspiracy theorist term. I think flat Earth was meant to be the next conspiracy theorist. I mean, you know, they're basically building up this idea, using it to associate with people that tell the truth online, and just trying to say, oh, they're just all the crazy flat earthers. They lump us into the same groups that they lump in the flat earthers with. Same thing with the violent groups that are popping up out of nowhere, like Richard Spencer, former Obama supporter, sudden white nationalist Trump supporter, things like that, right? These groups are very convenient when you want to have a moral righteousness cause falsely.
Yeah, exactly. So this actual video is probably going to get us banned, but because we're using all those terms. But I know those of you who love flat Earth, I'd ask you not to talk about it on my channel, just because it's a divisive topic between where we need to unify. So I'm asking you to unify and point your guns at the right area. The guns are the cabal, right?
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Like if you believe it, that's fine. I'm not your enemy over that topic. You should believe what you want. Let's talk about the issues that are facing us from like a moral perspective. Like before geography, that's a geography issue to me, right? That's a map issue. I want to fight the bad guys first.
Exactly. Yeah. So whether it's flat Earth or round Earth, I want the cabal not to control me. Right.
Let's have good Earth and bad Earth first, not flat versus round. Let's just
that's right. I like that. I like that thinking. And so back to the Alex Jones topic and the original cry before we get to the threat. How about going over what happened there?
So like originally he had put out this response video, which was very telling for me, because for me, I'm just this nobody YouTuber. I didn't think that anyone would care what I had to say. Never did. Suddenly, you know, I'm a YouTuber, whatever, but he responded to me, and that's what was very interesting. And you could tell he was responding to me without actually using the honor of giving me my name or anything like that, because he was quoting me verbatim. He responded to the video that he described intimately within 24 hours, and no one else had put out a video of that nature. No one else had said the things I had said, like you had quoted me. I was a fan of his for 15, 16 years. He quoted that, things like that. He made fun of me and sort of misquoted the things I said, lied about me, said I put out a video to kill him. Did not do that. And I rebutted this point by point, but he did say things that were just gold forever. Just I'll never stop talking about it. Like that I made him cry over breakfast with his kids, or that he called me Satan's ankle, whatever that means. Or that he said that I put out a kill video on him, and now that he's threatened to kill me, I think. These are things that I will always remember, and these are like trophies on the wall, man.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that somebody that's powerful, has that type of audience, was so offended by you, and you were just basically talking about what Q told us. It's not like you
reported on the Mossad topic.
Right. Nice.
Why did he get so scared?
Yeah, so you can tell that he sees Q as a threat.
He's triggered, and I was the target, not because there's no Q, like Q is anonymous, right? So there's no one to go after, and you can't threaten Q, but you can threaten Dustin Nemos, and that's exactly what happened on the third man.
Yeah. So now that was a while ago, right? When that first time when you that was 6 months plus ago, right? So
that was right after Q called him out as Mossad and everything, because I was still defending Alex Jones from QAnon for a while.
I see a lot of 17s on the screen, so a lot of people. I don't know where that came from, but somebody.
You're gonna see those Q sent me things like that if he posts this video or something. But yeah.
All right, I love it. I love all the 17s showing up. Thanks, guys. And the other topic when it just comes to Alex and the crying, and then. Just 2 days ago, something pretty significantly happened. Tell us that story.
So yeah, and then so that was a very telling response. That was the day I realized he was afraid, and that we could take him on as a liar and a deceiver within the movement, which I always took that as my goal from Q, right? Like he kind of tasked me when he shared my stuff. It was about taking on the deceivers, the Trojan MAGA, the folks that are kind of telling lies from our team. Those are the greatest threat I see. Not CNN, which we all know to be liars, but the people muddying the waters. Otherwise, we'd already have justice.
Yeah.
At least that's my contention. So, the other day he had my buddy Captain Roy on, who did the book with me. They were talking about the book, and thank you, Alex, for sharing the book and holding it up and everything else. That's another one of those trophies, man.
Yeah. So was he talking bad about it, I'm sure?
Well, he ambushed my buddy Roy. Now, Roy did really well. I was actually really very impressed. I did not, I warned Roy, don't go on the show. They're going to ambush you. But he did really well, and I was amazed. And I think everybody else was impressed as well. He did us proud. But on the other hand, it was an ambush. And you could tell Alex Jones was threatened by Q. He kept trying to attack Q, ridicule Q, but then also try to like take the credit for everything that Q and Trump has done, which is, he's got some credit. He's told some truths. He's made some big mistakes. Like, we have some questions about that as well. But you can't claim credit for Trump. You cannot claim credit for the Q movement. You've been there for, I think he says 25 years. Well, you got nothing done. We got stuff done in 2 years, man. Where you been?
That's exactly right.
In terms of results and things like that, you don't get to claim those credits. That's all Q. That's all Trump. That's all where we go one, we go all. That's no individual. But he did seem to make some statements of wanting peace with Q or things like that, which is that was confusing for me, because on the other hand, he's also ambushing my buddy and trying to bash Q and threatening me. So I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, and I think Roy thought that he was threatening him for a second when he says, "I understand threats," and he goes, "Oh, no, I wasn't threatening you." And he
said, "You."
Yeah, but it was almost like we should probably play it here, but I don't think he's allowed to be played on YouTube. We'd get a strike for that, right? But but the whole point is that he is almost like, "I'm not threatening you, I'm threatening Dustin."
Exactly. That is exactly what he meant. And in fact, he's talking about the person who's going after him for being a Russian agent, although I said Mossad, and he knows I said Mossad in the book that he's holding up, talking about him with the chapter that says how I made Alex Jones cry. I mean, he's not an idiot. He knows exactly who he's talking to. He knows what I said about him. He knows I'm the leading voice calling him Mossad out there. That is a public figure, because QAnon is not a public figure, and he's threatening my life. And at first I was like, well, Alex Jones threatened me. That's funny. And then I'm like, well, holy shit, Mossad just threatened me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a really different issue, Dustin. So you do need to be armed with ammunition and videos.
I just need to be public, man, and back off a bit.
Have the dead man switch, as you talked about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I do think, and I think it's ingenious of Alex Jones to actually say, hey, these people are accusing me of being a Russian agent, almost trying to equate himself with Trump, when that's not what Q did. Q clearly stated that he was Mossad, and he actually talked about the company that controls the whole InfoWars channels, and they
LLC.
Yeah. So, hey, this is. So I just
do you remember when?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember when CNN tried to set up Jordan Sather, but then they try those gotcha questions, or that time where they made that hit piece about the map, but then they changed the words, things like that. Like, this is the kind of stuff Alex does too.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of saying a Mossad agent, that's who he's protecting. He's trying to stay away from that as much as he can. So, yeah, so it's a scary time, guys, out there for public figures, not only the ones that are really telling the truth, because we're not protected like Alex Jones is, right? Because he's really working for the Mossad, and that was just a shocker to me. And I'm sure I'm pissing people off right now, even talking about this right now. I'm sure 20% of my audience or more don't understand this yet, and so I'm trying to let you guys understand that there's just a big deal for you to understand what Lenin said. Again, Vladimir Lenin, who took over USSR, he had people against communism. So what did he do? He said the best way to control the opposition, people against communism, was to lead it ourselves. So they paid people under the table to act like they were against them, and on important times and issues, they talked good about communism. That's what's happening right now with Alex Jones being paid by the CIA/Mossad to make us look foolish, I believe, in the end.
I hope that we are wrong, and I would really like to, at some point, maybe seek clarification from Q himself, because he didn't give us much to go on. And maybe, Alex's argument here is that Corsi led him astray, and that maybe Corsi was the Mossad link. I hope so. I mean, I loved Alex for most of my adult life. I looked up to him. I respected him. I would like to see him come back into the good graces of the good guys. I'm not out to destroy him or anything like that. And I don't discount the good that he's done for the world. I mean, he woke me up, and that alone, that changed my life. So, I thank him for that. But if he is a deceiver, if he is, a foreign tool, of a different government or something like that, in this time and era, if he's involved in treason or something like that, it's not up to Dustin Nemos if he goes down. And that's not me, it's Q. And all I did was report on it. Killing me doesn't help.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. And I just think that sophistication of the controlled opposition really needs to be thought of as we're thinking for ourselves. I mean, obviously, I don't want everybody to believe what I say just because I'm saying it, but I saw the video live, I believe it was, with Alex and Corsi lying to me specifically about what I knew to be true about Q. They were both lying. And I know they were lying about things, and that is that he was compromised, and that he was that the CIA took over of him, and it was clear that he was either jealous financially or was being paid or was being maybe threatened somehow. But he was trying to take Q down at that point in time.
I have taken a major chunk out of Alex Jones's market share, brother. He is not happy about it.
Yeah, and I can just see, even 2 days ago, during the time he was threatening you, he was basically mocking Q and Q followers. Do you agree with that in a pretty heavy way? When
he was ridiculing us, and it was an ambush hit job. That's why I say, like, if you're trying to make friends, this is not the right tone, man. You came at us the wrong way. We are not here in a position of weakness. He said, and I quote, "I want to see Q's power." You remember that part in the video when he got all like dramatic about it? Well, it's everywhere on the streets. We're out there. There's t-shirts, there's hats. We're here. I have a lawsuit against big tech for, I just spent 10 grand to get that going with an A-list attorney. We're here everywhere, all of us. Where we go, when we go all. We're getting books across. I mean, we're doing things like this.
He's making it sound like Q's not really applicable. He did all the work, right? It's like
Q is doing everything. Trump and Q have made everything possible. Everything else is just good guys waking up and shaking off the sleep out of our eyes and realizing our power. That's it. Q has just taught us to play the game.
Yeah, exactly right. So now, hey, moving to that topic now, the lawsuit. I couldn't be, I'm supportive of it and want to be part of this as well as a ton of other people. So tell me about what you were thinking back before you got this started, and why now?
Well, I've been, as you know, I've reached out to you probably months ago. It is now. I've been trying to network and let people know something's coming. We're building a coalition, a where we go one, we go all kind of roundtable movement. And basically, it's at the point now where we can start to kind of talk about it. We can start to sort of begin to reveal things and begin to brag about things a little bit, because we've baked in all of that pre-existing networking and influence and such. Yourself, you knew about this, but dozens of other influencers knew about this, and that's a lot of reach and already that will be built in before we really launch the thing. So that was, I did the best I could to stack in success. Basically, it's like Art of War. Now, my next step, now that we've retained the attorney, is to try for the biggest possible initial launch, like the biggest possible mountain to scream his name from, because it's a good name to scream. And as soon as I can get that opening kind of like launch, we'll start with the movement, and we'll see what he can do, because the impression I get from him is that no one has ever tried this sort of First Amendment challenge that we're trying. Everyone else has made mistakes or failed to do this in a serious way, and we're not like that. I mean, like I said, I built this in with success pre-baked as much as I could, because I knew it couldn't. I knew people fail. I knew people get killed. I knew people fail to get momentum going. I needed people to know about it. That's why I was always subtle, and that's why I was always kind of vague about what was happening. But lawsuit, movement, and then there's much bigger things heading soon. And I was going to do it as a nonprofit. I don't think that's legal, so I may not be able to do a nonprofit lawsuit against big tech for censorship, but I'm still going to fund it. I'm going to just find another way to do it. I'll tie it to some sort of a business thing. Sorry about my dogs, but we'll figure out a way to make it happen, because we have to. What else are we going to do?
Okay, so I know you're trying to make this big bang without giving away timing and everything else like that.
Yeah, well, very soon. I mean, as soon as I can get on that larger stage, some kind of major show to open the name up and really go like a lead in with a PR and everything else, that's when I want to start getting on every other talk show, every other circuit, just start talking about details, start getting him out there, the attorney, letting him kind of share what he's found. I mean, what you would normally do, press releases and the full 9 yards, but I just wanted to sneak up, and now I'm just like, that name is just behind my lips, and I just out there, like his face is on Death Stars in my head with memes and such, blowing up Silicon Valley, like metaphorically speaking. So,
all right. Is there any other context about this person that you can share, or are we you don't want to give any hints out at all?
Hundreds of millions of dollars headlines attorney.
Okay.
goes against bullies. And it narrows it down quite a bit for people. So if you're seriously like thinking about it, it's only a few people on that list. And really, you know, it's only a matter of days or weeks until this comes out. And paired with this movement, which I'll go ahead and tell you, I mean, it's called the White Hats movement, and it's whitehats.com, whitehatmovement.com is not even up and running yet. And I'm always bad about kind of revealing the name too soon, but like it's ready, it's coming soon. That will be the online activist, that will be the truth warrior branch for not just Q people, not just free speech people, not just alternative health people, but everybody that cares about free speech or freedom. Just by nonpartisan roundtable. That White Hat movement gets people talking. That gets millions of good guys united together. After that, I mean, my second phase, I've already announced it in Autism One, so I can go ahead and tell you. I was going to, in fact, I already did, just like I did before. I started this baked in, and I did it all snuck up, and then I revealed it. So it's already done. I have a company now that's owned by a patriot that's licensed in all states to do health insurance, prescription drugs, big pharma products, right? I'm going to take everything that they sell, I'm going to sell it, and then put all of that money into fighting them with millions of patriots, man. It's going to take billions of dollars of big pharma profit, and I'm going to try to fund Brzezinski's cancer cure. I'm going to go after their profit margins. Like, they're going to totally kill me, but this is not something that's dependent on Dustin Nemos. This is, again, it's way bigger than me now. It can't be killed.
Yeah, and if there's one type of way to hurt big pharma, it is to start curing this stuff versus just treating the symptoms.
And you can't, what are they going to do? Because they jealously guard their profit margins. So as long as they have profit margins, anyone can go take and join their business model, but use their profit margins against them.
Yeah, so basically you're turning, if I had to summarize it, you're turning patriots white hats to buy from this store so the profits can be used for good versus to just line their pockets.
Well, yeah, I mean, for example, you know, I'm into alt health. Like, I'm seriously, I take like 40 supplements a day, all the vitamins and stuff. And I tell people, don't take the big pharma drugs. It's killing you. But I also have 100,000 people in my audience, and most of them are in their 50s and 60s and up, and they're scared of stopping the drugs. You know, they're being ear-porned all the time by their doctor and sold these drugs with the hard sell tactics of you know, pharma pushers. That's the business model these days, and they're never going to quit their drug. They're hooked, they're dependent, maybe they can't stop. 1% of them might get out of it. The other ones would like to fight back if they could. This gives them an option. I don't want a dime from that. I don't want a single cent from it. In fact, I'm going to do it with full transparency and have a council of leaders of like 9 vetted community leaders within the field of alternative health to help me figure out where to put the money. But doing that kind of business model, that capitalism with a cause, I don't have to make money selling the cancer cure. I'll just give away that, and then I'll make money selling shoes or something else. You know, my personal story. Big Pharma has ruined my whole family. They've killed half of them, and the rest of them are drug addicts. So I wouldn't take a cent from them, but I couldn't do it as a nonprofit, because how do you sell health insurance and prescription drugs as a nonprofit? It's not the same as Girl Scout cookies.
And with obviously the growing population age, right? And then you have, I did some consulting in healthcare for a while, and there was, I think the average person in the nursing homes are taking 13 pills a day, right? So
I think it's worse now, yeah.
And to just think of how much profit they're counting on as more and more people move into these nursing homes and more people age, that the whole baby boom generation.
And the stuff they're pushing on the children as soon as they're born now, it's going to guarantee profits for life.
And that's the vaccination start, right? All the way up.
Well, yeah, not just that too. I mean, the vaccination start, the lack of nutritional guidance. I mean, these baby foods, half of them are full of sugar and like other flavonoids that get the baby hooked for life, because they're, you know, when they're babies, their food, what's it called? The taste buds are being adapted and developed while they're in the womb in the first couple months of food. So they're developing a taste for the sugary crap that's in these things. And then, of course, you know, you're Christian, so you're concerned about the fetal tissue that they're putting into some of these things as well. And then just nonstop, every left and right way you're looking at it, they're trying to poison us and trying to get to our kids and trying to poison our minds and trying to poison their minds. You know, Marxism, communism, it's just nonstop. I would argue that those are more mind and brain damaging than the vaccines are.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard my personal story over the last 3 months, but I was a runner in college. I still run 3 or 4 or 5 times a week with my dog, just a mile and a half. It's not a big deal, but I'm in pretty good shape. But I've always been able to eat everything I want because I exercise so much, right? Married to a dietitian who's a Pilates instructor, but anyway, I 3.5 months ago or so, I was at the heaviest I've ever been, and I hadn't changed anything really. So I really believe that it may have been my age, but I really believe it wasn't. Now that I've done this, is that I believe it's GMO in the carbs, both the corn and the wheat. So I basically went to called the shepherd's diet. It's similar to keto, where I just eat carbs, healthy fat. I cut out carbs and eat healthy fats, 70 to 75%, 25% protein, and like 5 to 10% carbs. And I lost 15 pounds. My blood pressure's down, and I feel like I feel like 7-8 years ago before they started messing with these things. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on GMO in the carbs or otherwise.
More poisons. I love carbs. They taste great, but they're so bad for you.
Yeah, and I was a carbo loader. And that's what, as a runner, I was a carbo loader, and I don't believe that the carbs back 15 years ago were bad for me, and I believe they've done something to them since. That's my theory.
In your tissues, they'll actually, like, some of these poisons and these toxins are so bad, the only thing your body can do is to wrap it with fat and just kind of stick it somewhere. Mm-hmm. When you really start to flush out some of these toxins, sometimes you'll get really sick because you're flushing it out, but the fat will melt away. I mean, I saw one person drop 400 pounds a year with a fasting and just juice diet, and that normally would be dangerous.
Yeah, no question. I just want to mention American Wife is leaving and says gave a super chat and says love you guys. So good night, American Wife. Appreciate you. Wow, that is so that and that I love your story about any specific one that you can kind of highlight for people that don't know about the back of your family, and you kind of summarize it a little bit, or what really got you into the big pharma thing.
So I saw it kill my grandfather years ago. He was always spraying glyphosate and doing what he was told from his doctor and such, and he died of cancer in great pain and indignity that he should not have had to go through. My grandmother is kind of going through the same thing now, like just cancer, fighting it all the time. She's watching her family drop dead. And those are the good side of the family, man. My mom's side of the family, I kid you not, like, my mom was a crack whore. My brother was her pimp. My sister was I found her on Backpage, and my aunt was brain damaged and a drug addict, and would go like house to house, like trying to sleep and stuff. Like, she was just not there anymore. And these were all good people once upon a time, and drugs have ruined everybody.
And that is tough. My best man in my wedding died of opioids, right? And so I'm not sure if that's as much big pharma, though. I think it's the street drugs, the whole CIA street drugs thing, potentially.
Yeah, but it's big, different parts of the same evil system.
Yeah, and it's scary. And when I read the book Killing of Uncle Sam, phenomenal review of the deep state, and that book, which was shocking to see, that CIA started when it couldn't get funding after World War I to actually start selling World War II to actually start selling drugs into Harlem. Heroin into Harlem specifically, to our own people, to actually fund their black ops. It's like crazy.
We're cattle to them, man.
Yeah. So this is a fight worth fighting, and I'm so proud of you guys on fighting with us. It's just fun. I know we've gone about 45 minutes here, and I didn't know if there's any other topics you wanted to make sure that we covered here, Dustin.
That was kind of it for me. I mean, I'm sort of just trying to champion free speech lately. That's been my focus. Obviously, the Alex Jones thing got me a little bit worried for a few days. I've got some dead man switches and stuff in place now. That's kind of it. I mean, obviously, I've still got to do the journalist stuff and the YouTube stuff. So, I still have to talk about the news and cover the channel and everything else. And I'm about to get censored. I don't even know how that's going to do everything. I just hired like 5 or 6 people. So I don't know what's coming, but I'll be here. Just like you, we're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, no question. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that, again, going in our email list is the best way to make sure you're connected with us, right? You can also follow us on all the other areas, but I think that a lot of them are going to come down, right? The Twitters, and I'm on Twitter. I think you're on Twitter as well, Dustin, right?
They will burn it down before they let us have free speech.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm on Facebook as well, and I can do Facebook Live and Periscope as a backup. But once they take you down on one, they're probably going to take you down on all three. And that's why BitChutes are probably a real good option for you now. So find us both on BitChute or get on our email list, blessedtoteach.com with a 2 or DustinNemos.com. And so, hey, I really appreciate it. It's a privilege to have you on the show, and a privilege to be joining you in this fight against the First Amendment.
Yeah, for the First Amendment. But yeah, man, it's an honor. I appreciate you, brother, as always.
All right. Well, I'm gonna flip over and do kind of the end of my show, and but I just want to thank you again for joining me. So you guys stay on, because we're gonna keep on rolling here for a little bit. But God bless you, Dustin.
All right, brother. You guys be well.
You guys take care. All right, guys. I don't know how that had more than one person on that meeting, because for me, I saw that. But hey, I wanted to kind of quickly go over a couple other pieces of information I have here, and maybe get to a prophecy. Just crazy when you start looking at everything. And here's President Trump saying, as we approach the 75th anniversary of D-Day, we proudly commemorate those heroic and honorable patriots who gave their all for the cause of freedom during some of history's darkest hours. Just reminds me of some of Mark Taylor's things where he's talking about God rewriting the D-Day speech, for the army of God. And so this is a big day for, I know I should have probably had Mark on today, the more I think about it on D-Day. But quite a memorable time that we need as patriots to be supporting our great vets. Here, you probably saw this. This is sad. An Arkansas state senator gets shot. They're looking at it as a murder, and the judge sealed the police records. So this is really getting bizarre. So this and I'm saying Streisand effect incoming. So hopefully, because this person actually was a Q follower and was very active in our movement. So it's really, really scary that this type of stuff is happening. We have attention Hannity, Limbaugh, Carlson. This person saying your viewers are way in front of you, and it's time to program accordingly. Truth has priority over propping up establishment Republicans. And this was kind of interesting, but I just think that this Anna had it right. Hannity, Ingram, Carlson, etc. are waking up the normal people. It's our job to wake up those that are close to us. I think that's exactly right. We're the red pillars here. They're red pilling normies, and we're trying to take them to the next level into QAnon, right? And showing them what's really going on here. I think that's a pretty important piece of this. Hey guys, I did want you to know that there is these gold RIAs available that I think are a phenomenal thinking. If you are, have old 401ks that you want to move into a gold IRA, or you're just worried about the stock market crashing. I don't know if you saw this window here. Look at this. I want to show you about the stock market. The stock market's done well for a lot of people. There's my censorship that's going on. But I think it was right here. Yeah, here, look at this. So it's just been going up, and then it starts dropping significantly. So trying to diversify a little bit better, looking at noble gold. They're asking, is this the remarkable bull run of the last 8 years finally over? This month, S&P already fallen 6.23%. How far the market's likely to go? So you might want to think about diversifying into these gold IRAs. And so there's going to be a phone number that you can call, get some of these 401ks moved over to the gold IRA, or just diversifying a little bit better. So you can call them at 877-646-5347, 877-646-5347. There's also a link below in this video to check that out. Let's continue on some great news and get into a prophecy here in a second. Here is some here's a YouTube video that's on, the YouTube article on New York Times. I'll put that in the show notes. So again, go to blessedtoteach.com to get those show notes. Here I'm going to have my son on probably Friday night, but he did his first video. So he's Risible Reality here on YouTube. Risible Reality. And he's got the scripted CIA media monopoly, which I think is I think he did a great job. It's like 10 minutes, but a good way of, if I talk about how do you red people, this might be a really good first video the more I looked at this, because it basically reviews the Mockingbird media. It's a great way to kind of go through that. I don't know what I just did there. Looks like I may have lost his video as I, but anyway, Risible Reality. Go look for that, and I'll put a link below in the show notes. I'll put the link to his, and we'll have him on live here to talk about his experience with making his first video. Here, as you know, he's the one who woke me up 3 years ago, showing me Alex Jones and other things. So I am very, what do you call it? I am very thankful for Alex Jones waking me up early on, because he told me some truth pills, right? Here's the first part of this video of my son. It says, if Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS are all owned by different people, then why do they all have the same scripted thing? And I'm sure you've seen this funny part at the beginning. But then he does a really good job going through some of the church file, and really kind of talking about some things that I think would be really good for a brand new believer. I mean, the person that you're trying to actually wake up. Again, a little 10-minute video, Risible Reality, and it's called, you can search on it also by the scripted CIA media monopoly is what he's doing. The scripted CIA media monopoly is a title of it at the Risible Reality. And now here's Hillary Clinton just slamming, has not responded in 18 months to Senate Judiciary Committee's request for documents and answers about the dossier. So she's trying to avoid that at all costs, keeps attacking Trump. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt will leave Alphabet board after 18 years. So that's kind of getting crazy when you think about that. And then here's this thing you're saying, Trump's wild popularity overseas is one of media's best kept secrets. So even the British media was positive about Trump during the visit, while the American media was just vicious, because they know they're going to be going down. Here's a meme about Seth Rich and saying, my undercover name was Seth Rich. That's right. We'll remember Seth Rich for a long time. A lot of great things on Mexico about Donald Trump. Republicans kind of bailing on him. Kind of sad when you see some of that stuff going on. So here's Praying Medic talking about where is social media censorship headed for those who are tracking Q. Here's an important data point. So you'll see he's got a whole thread on this whole media censoring stuff that you might want to look through. What purpose does it serve for Q to delete PF posts? And so that was a September deal we were talking about. So he analyzes this. I don't have time to go over that, but just want to point you toward Praying Medic on that. He had a video out about, and he's worried about his channel being taken down as well. Guys, we're probably all going to be off, I would guess, within the next couple weeks potentially, especially a couple months. I would guess they'll come down on Q. I'm not going to read this because it's a little crude, but funny meme. For those of you who want to reverse and see that, but here's Stephanie Hill. That's the wrong one. So some more. I love Twitter, guys. I love Twitter. I'm gonna miss it when they knock me off of that. So you can follow me there. I do a lot of retweeting. I don't create a lot of original stuff because there's already so many great people. I'm just forwarding like Lady Warren on here and other great original creators of posts, right? But I also meme a lot, right? So I love memes. I'll re-forward or retweet memes, etc. It says, angry Pelosi slams her hands on the podium as she attacks Trump's proposal tariffs on Mexican imports. So they are doing everything they can. They do not want in 2020 for him to be able to say, yeah, Mexico did pay for the wall. Look at all the tariffs. That would be their worst nightmare, I think. There's the actual article, which was in, I believe, the Gateway Pundit, right? So again, you can find all these on blessedtoteach.com with the show notes is what you want to either give me your email to subscribe for them, or you go directly to the show notes either way. So it's just sad what's happening here. A lot of fun stuff going on here. Here's this thing about Julian Assange. Let's play this.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange.
Julian Assange was arrested in London this morning. The WikiLeaks founder
in a computer hacking conspiracy.
Assange was dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London today.
Literally carried out by British authorities. A hacking conspiracy by the U.S.
U.S. officials charged WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange with violating the Espionage Act on Thursday.
Charging Assange under the Espionage Act will have a serious chilling effect on our most fundamental rights of freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Every American, certainly every journalist, must strongly condemn this anti-democratic act by the Trump administration.
They thought that was funny because obviously we know as QAnon what's actually happening. We're getting them here and we're protecting the source. So that'll be really interesting when that all comes out, right? So again, blessedtoteach.com is where you're going to want to go to get my show notes. Spend a lot of time making sure they render real well for you guys and that you can quickly get to everything. The easiest way on the front page is just to come down here and add yourself to the email. You can go right here directly to them if you want to each time. Go to show notes right here. You can also send me email if you want to go to the contact us form and you'll be able to send me an email. I'm trying to keep up with those the best I can. You can imagine the amount I get though, so it's kind of tough, but that would be how we do it. I want to quickly go over to a prophecy. This is All Roads Lead to Rome by Mark Taylor. Somebody was talking about that earlier, so I thought I'd go over this one. It's a little 3 or 4 paragraphs here. Let's get into it. The Spirit of God says, the Pope and the Vatican, that's right, the Pope and the Vatican are not furthering my kingdom, but are aiding the kingdom of darkness. Many are saying that this is the last Pope, but it's not for the reason they think. This will be the last Pope for what I, the Lord, am about to do. I will expose this Pope and all those under his command for all the corruption he and the Vatican have been involved in for centuries. The Spirit of God says, there's a shaking and quaking coming to this Pope and the Vatican, for I will split the Vatican and its leadership wide open for the entire world to see, and the inner workings of this ancient beast. This Pope, the Vatican, and all its leadership will come crumbling down. I will pull back the veil to show how deep and dark the deception has been. You whisper in your inner chambers, we answer to no one. No one is above us. No one can hold us accountable. I, the Lord God, see it all, and the time has come when I will now hold you accountable for your darkness. The exposure will be of such magnitude that the people will say, what do we do now? Where do we go now? We want nothing to do with this. We have no religion now. Millions will walk away from the religion, and this will affect other religions as well. The Spirit of God says, is my army ready? Are you ready to receive these people? Are you ready to receive my harvest that's going to take place from this exposure? Prepare yourself for the tsunami of people that will be starving for me and have no place to turn. Prepare now. All roads lead to Rome. The Spirit of God says there is a dig, an archaeological find that is coming in an underground vault which will be so cataclysmic that it will rock the Christian world. The answer lies between Jerusalem and Vatican City. That is Mark Taylor's All Roads Lead to Rome on January 2018. I think it was one of his last prophecies that he's written. So he feel that the Lord was going to be a while before he had another written prophecy. But again, you can find all these on swordrescue.com, SORD rescue.com. I want to finish with a Bible memory verse, guys. It's John 1:1. Teaches to all my Awanas kids when I was young, and that's just one of my favorite verses because it teaches the Trinity so clearly. Teaches that the true Jesus so clearly, that Jesus is God in flesh. That's Emmanuel. That's what it means when we sing that Christmas song. When we talk about Emmanuel, that is God in flesh. So the Son of God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, the Trinity, but it's one God. That's always existed and always will exist. The first cause. There's no other God before him. There will never be another God like him. There never will be God before him, right? So it's very important to know that the first cause has always existed. Logic says that nothing can create itself. So the first thing that actually had to be created had to be by an internal being that already existed and always has existed. That's only logical, guys. That's called the first cause. But here's 1 John 1:1. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word's talking about Jesus, because I think it's John 1:14, I believe. If you continue to go down, it says the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. So it's talking about Jesus here in flesh. The words, if you read this with Jesus, you'd say, in the beginning was Jesus, and the Jesus was with God, and the Jesus was God. Jesus accepted worship. Jesus said he forgave sins. Only God can do those things. So he clearly demonstrated that he was God in flesh. He was the God-man, 100% man, 100% God. And that Trinity is all about our all-powerful God that's omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. He's like no other, and there will be no other like him. Exciting times. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for these awesome people. Thank you for Dustin Nemos. We pray for Dustin's salvation. I'm going to say that. I'm going to ask him to just pray that he can understand who Jesus really is, who God really is. And I also pray for his safety. I pray for his mission and what his heart will not only be for the Where We Go One, We Go All movement and being a patriotic movement. It'll also turn into a godly movement one day. Lord, just thank you for all the patriots out there of all religions. We need to be praying for them. But Lord, also I pray for what this prophecy talks about, where millions of people will be leaving not only the Catholic religion, but a lot of other religions. And that's what this is. This is a relationship with you, Lord. I just pray that you will use us as the army of God to empower us to accept these people. Allow us to really affect the culture in all areas, Lord. I just pray for your wisdom. And to say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for taking time here. I'm sorry we got off to a little rough start with the event thing and the audio not working, but we got it working here, and really appreciate you taking the time on this show. I did want to wrap it up with this. We are talking, if I can get back to the Q channels being removed, guys. This is serious. Please get on my email list or follow me on BitChute. You can find both those things on blessedtoteach.com. At the bottom, you'll see my BitChute, or you just go a little bit down to get on the email list. And they are going to be removing this, I really believe. If you read that New York Times article carefully, they are going to be removing this, right? So I'm on Facebook and Twitter, but I'm using their platforms against them, but I'm probably going to be knocked off all of those, I would guess, based upon the way that article reads, with YouTube leading the charge here. Anybody that's linked to any of these type of things, they're going to be removing our channels. Not only the videos, but the channels as well. So again, thanks for Dustin Nemos to joining us live. This is the Blessed to Teach show on June 5th, Wednesday. This is Rick, your host. God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you in the next show.